Hello and welcome to episode 15 of our Timberborn 1.0 experimental playthrough with the Folktales faction, cycle 28, day 7, where last time we built the Fountain of Joy and took care of a couple of other things, maybe caused a little tiny bit of problems that we need to solve. So let's go ahead and put this back in single speed and make our way back over to this side of the map, where we also did something kind of fun with these large windmills up on stilts and connected everything to the power network down here, which is... well, I guess not technically fully connected yet because this hasn't quite been built. But we may have caused a problem in terms of when this gets completely connected here, flooding things. So what's going to have to happen is there's going to need to be a distinct separation of the irrigation setup. And I'm honestly not sure if it's going to allow me to do what I'd like to do here. Oh, looks like it will. Alright, well, problem solved. I just needed to put an impermeable floor up on top of this guy so that no water goes through. Yes, the power shafts do go through impermeable floors. Don't ask me how it works. I guess the beavers just came up with some sort of a waterproof sleeve design or something. I don't know. But it works, so we can do that. And when this actually gets connected, then we're not going to flood the entire map because of all of the head pressure from this thing up here. Because, you know, this is... several blocks taller than basically any other point of the map that actually has water, with the exception of this right here, and it's similar in height. So, it's going to be a project that will, you know, I don't even have to say it. We also worked on this. We built a spiral staircase down to the bottom level of the map, and these beavers are getting wet, but they're not getting poisoned yet. So we can be thankful for that. There's plenty of debris. Actually, it looks like they've gotten it all picked up, so that is... very good to see indeed. But this is a drain for bad water, or it's supposed to be at least. When these bad water drains kick off in our next bad tide, then this will just fall relatively harmlessly down this hole and get shunted out the edge of the map there. This is, of course, something that we fixed last episode because of this. And it is very, very nasty, very polluted, poisoned, what have you. And we can also... to a certain extent, fix these problems by pumping out with aquifers. Same kind of deal we did over here with our towers of power, or whatever you choose to call them. It's obviously not super ideal, but it does work. And to some degree, it will always be pumping if it is not a drought or a bad tide. Maybe slowly, but it should always be pumping once we have everything connected power-wise. These gravity batteries, of course, kind of a stopgap, not really super efficient. In fact, this one doesn't even go all the way down. I think somebody caught that in the comments because I put in these stairs here. But if we scroll down here and we find that all of these are built, which it looks like they are, we can do ourselves a favor, take those stairs out, and now we have an extra 4,000 HPH that is almost immediately going to go away, but it's going to work. So, that's great progress. Very, very pleased with how that is going. There are, of course, many things we do need to address, like the housing shortage, and I have been saying forever that I'm going to come up with some sort of an idea for this. Well, time's up. I've got to do something, so what I'm going to propose is that I just kind of put some stilts in here on single platforms and just have kind of, you know, ring around the outside in terms of housing, put in some Lidos because these guys don't have swimming pools, they have Lidos, and see what kind of niceties we can make over here. And depending on how we want to get this set up, I think we can make something that's not going to be, you know, completely stupid looking. Maybe not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but it will, in fact, work. So I'm going to take these double dynamites here, blast these out because the Lido is a 4-wide building. I can put one here, I can put one here, and then in the middle here, I can take my stilts, platforms, whatever you want to call them, and then this is a 1, 2, 3 wide triple lodge area. So, again, very, very simple. All we've got to do is just stick these guys right here. It'll take up a little bit of space. When you turn the water back on, you're actually not going to be able to see the stilts. It's going to look, yeah, it's going to look pretty nice. And it's relatively centered. You know, you take a look at this middle bit here. It is centered on this little indentation, I guess left to right of the entire thing. technically centered as well, but the shape is not consistent on this axis. Not that we really need to be super worried about it. The goal with this is just to make something that looks nicer. Not necessarily the most perfect thing ever, but the effort is what counts here. So this will just be a simple path connecting all of this. We will, of course, go round the outside, as one does. And we'll come up with some sort of maybe slightly better looking setup eventually. But for now, this is going to give us another 27 places for beavers to live. And since we have the wonderful monument, the Fountain of Joy right here, it's going to need to be accompanied by the other monuments as well to get these guys their full bonuses. So to get all of these in the same place, we can just kind of put them on top of these, but that's a little boring. It's not the most exciting thing ever. So what might actually work is for us to kind of do, depending on how we want to have this set up, if I put one of these here and I put another one of these here, we will catch both of these, if I can rotate correctly. There we go. And then right here in the middle, even though this is a 2 wide, not a 3 wide, we could put one off to either side here and here. Would still catch everything and would have a decent bit of symmetry. Put a little bit of decoration between. Or we could do some other kind of nonsense here. I like the idea of having symmetry. And we've got 9 spaces in between. Now, what fits 9 spaces in between? You'd think that we could put a dance hall here, or we could put an agora, which we have not built, by the way. But the terrain doesn't really seem like it's going to support that. So what I'm going to propose instead, we have our Lidos here. We can also, remember, we can do mud pits. Now, I know, I've said this like 5 episodes in a row, we don't have any dirt. We're going to fix that. But I think a mud pit or 2 mud pits might actually be the move right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock these mud pits. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here, and we're going to take this staircase through here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually blast something down here, and we can put our dance hall and our agora and a couple other things in this area, and they'll look decent. Maybe not the perfect thing, but they'll look decent. We need to go down 2 blocks, and for this to look its best, I think I'm going to need to do one, have this be completely flat, and then have stairs down, and then have a stairs down here. So we'll have straight, down 1, straight, and then at this level here. I think that's going to look good enough for right now, at least. We'll have this come out here. We've got these trees that, you know, we could cut down, but we have so many logs, we're not going to worry about it. I'm just going to have them come in here and yeet those trees into oblivion. Building this is going to take logs anyway, but we got 2,000. Planks-wise, this is going to require 800, and we have actually only 600 something. I think that's probably because we're building so many tunnels. So to aid in this, I'm going to turn these lumber mills back on, get those operating. We have a deficit 14, that is a 17 beavers. So we're going to need to acquire them from other parts of the map. And I only have 4 beavers in the mine right now, but we have 1,200 scrap metal. I'm going to pause the mine for right now. Not forever, but I'm going to pause the mine. I'm going to pause these 2 smelters. That's going to give us 6 beavers, and also take away the, maybe not the most injury prone, I actually don't remember. It's high chance, well, point being, beavers can easily get injured here no matter what the rate is, and that's going to give us additional beavers once those guys heal as well. Thank you, autosave. So let's get back in triple speed. Let's check in on our tunneling right here. Yeah, good progress being made. Get this, that is not the path. There we go. And we can recover some of these very carefully by only selecting the platforms. And we have all these planks on the ground. I am assuming they will, you know, probably want. So I'll mark those for pickup, and we'll let them do what they got to do. Keep on keeping on, so on and so forth. So it looks like we are ready to be for boom. There and there. And because we have our Lidos here, that only have to be supported at the entrance. This will actually be fine. I'm going to flip this so that the entrance is in line with this gap here. You'll see why in just a moment. But that's going to put the entrance there. And right here, I think, would be a decent place. We have benches. We can put one right here in the middle, right here in the middle, and put this path going straight that way. And then on either side of that, we can take shrubs, or we can do lanterns. I think this would be a decent spot for a lantern. Right here and right here. Give these guys some nice bonuses. And then we have all of these other things kind of in the general area. Hammocks are really cool. Unfortunately, they don't grant any bonuses. But I do like how they look, and I think they would be nice additions either right here or maybe on this side next to the Lidos, since we do have 3 spots right there. That's going to look decent. And in terms of hedges, also kind of begging for something nice like that. So what if I did this, and then in the corners I put a shrub here and a shrub here, and then I do another set of hedges there and there. I just kind of, you know, isolate the area just a tiny bit. And behind here, since we're kind of at the top of the hill, I will go ahead and put hedges, again, just these 2 at a time so the beavers don't get stuck, because you know how much they love to get stuck. Just let them do what they got to do. Of course, they're having to build all these stilts here, and we're going to need to keep an eye on how much housing gets built at once, because we don't want a rush of baby beavers. That could cause all sorts of issues. So, we need logs, we need treated planks, and we need regular planks. So, we actually have these large piles that are ready to accept. That one is already set to do planks. But let's do this one for logs. Obtain gears and explosives. I don't think we're going to need for much of anything except right here. Now, but this should make things just a tiny bit faster. Getting this set up just like so. Still plenty of stuff for the beavers to do. We've discussed a lot of different strategies, and I want to make sure we're not being completely insane with any of this. It looks like there's no more reason for the beavers to come down this hole here. So what's going to happen? I'm going to leave the rest of the staircase in place, but I'm going to take this one out so they can't accidentally use it. And right here, like I said before, I'm going to actually lower this, at least one of these tiles, because I want to be able to push the bad water out of here and here and through this drain. This one here does not have a built-in way to get anything out, so that's just going to have to evaporate on its own. We're not going to worry about it. But I don't think it's a bad idea for us to put aquifers in here. And we just have to be able to actually build the things. So if I do this, right, like so, and I guess it doesn't really matter which direction this faces, depending on how I want things to look. Maybe it might be a tiny bit nicer looking if I approach it a specific way, but for now, it's honestly probably fine. Now, we don't need these to be full power all the time, and we may or may not actually want these to be running all the time. We can maybe decide on that later. But for now, the easiest thing for us to do is just to bring in whatever our maximum height is going to be. It looks like the large windmills, I think somebody said that this bottom, the box with the gears in it, can technically be wet, but no more than that. That should be okay, and if not, well, then that's going to have to be good enough. And I believe I could probably go either way with this one. But for now, let's just kind of match that. It looks like that is just a hair too high. Let's bring that there. That looks close enough to me. So now they have to be able to construct this, which means they have to be able to access all of these things without getting, you know, stuck somewhere. So if I have this here, might have to be 3. Is it going to only do the 4x? It is. Okay. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I want. That is perfect right there. This is not going to be high enough. That is the 4x1, and I don't have enough space for... Does that line up? Is a 6 going to be? No, I need one more. One more from there. So we'll do another double. Research the 6x1. And yeah, that should let us build just about everything. And now we just need to make sure we can gain access to this. So that's going to be there. That's going to be there. That's going to be there. So on and so forth. Get that connected. Get that connected. And oh boy, do they have a whole lot of fun stuff to build. So you know as well as I do. Hey, it's a drought. Perfect. That is actually a very good time for us to be doing this. Maybe not in terms of power production, but in terms of, you know, not having to worry about bad water going anywhere. Ah, I have become the very thing I sought to destroy. We have a baby boom now. Because they built all this stuff. Those darn beavers did exactly what I asked them to do. I can't believe it. Oh, they can't reach this. Let me give them a couple more tile segments here. Yeah, I needed to really stay ahead of this, and I did not. Because I decided it was better to try and actually get stuff accomplished. So, I believe they're not going to start on this quite yet. So what I will do is I will deprioritize the means of access to all of this stuff. And that way we can come to it later. I probably, in the meantime, should check again on how this is progressing. It's actually looking pretty nice. Let's bring this all the way out to here. I do want to make sure they get this taken care of. But as we have learned, sometimes when I do these time lapses and I don't adequately prepare, bad things can happen. So I'd like to avoid that. For your sake and for mine. Get them to pick this up. This isn't mission critical that this is all connected right now, but I do want to make sure we're making good progress on that. So we can leave that alone. Come back over here. Yeah, you know what? The 24 children with a total population of 137 really isn't that bad. But if it gets much higher than that, then we're going to really start having some problems. We got a lot of stuff that needs to get built. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to time-lapse this. I'm going to have to maybe open up the menu and pause housing every now and again to try to keep the baby beaver number right around 20-ish. And then move on from there. But we're going to let them take care of building as much of this as we can. Probably go through the rest of this drought and then hop around to some construction sites. I'll do my best to make sure it's not obnoxious. But we do want to get this stuff done, and we don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing it. So I'll let the beavers do the talking, and I'll catch up with you again on the other side. Alright, so they've built just about everything I've asked of them over here. And we have some dynamite, so let's beaver boom. Forgot I was in one-time speed that's incredibly slow. But we're going to put our stairs in here. I think that looks, you know, nice enough. Oh, I've made a critical error. I didn't... Okay, well. That is unfortunate. So I was going... Okay, well, whatever. So, okay, well, what's going to happen now is I'm going to modify the design. I'm going to explode just these two things here, and I can, I don't know, put some sort of decoration there. But now they can come in here, they can remove all of these trees, so we can put our other stuff down here. But we've got Lidos, we've got housing, we have about 150 beavers, sitting around 154 right now. I've added some additional hauling posts that are deprioritized so we don't suck workers out of other buildings. And things are looking pretty good. I do like this. I have other plans for this besides just what we've built, but this is a good start. Before we move too far away from here, I do need to address what's going to happen with these badtide drains. I think long-term, the right move is going to be to build a similar drain at the very bottom of the map that connects into this. But I recognize that's going to take a while. And I don't necessarily want to get myself into too much trouble with that before that is due. So what we can do in the meantime is come over here with some of our, there it is, some sluices, which can go, I guess here and here should be fine. Again, just going to make this a really simple thing. This can be set to always open, so that bad water can never flow through here, and the good water can always flow out like it's supposed to drain. And that's not going to keep our level up here. I know there's at least one person who asked me to do something about this. But let's be honest, this Lido doesn't really need to be here if we have these on this side. And I am going to try to put some additional Lidos in somewhere over here. I just have to figure out exactly how that's going to work. I could put platforms here very easily and just do like one of these kind of numbers, but pretend it's up on platforms. That might, yeah, that might look good. But for now, we finished with this, at least the first stage, and we do need to come over here and allow them to finish all of this mess. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here. Unfortunate. That is going to require some babysitting. That is the wrong button. Yeah, let's just get the rest of these taken out. Let them come in here and do all this. But I think they probably have already started coming over here. It looks like, yeah, even though that was deprioritized, looks like that is already, wow, they've got all the materials. So this is going to be the new fun thing for these beavers to do. And we need to make sure they have an outlet for all of their fluids, which is going to be right here. So this is going to end up, I'm not going to cut anything else out, but this is going to end up overflowing this berm here, and coming in here, and then all of that's going to mix together and then go through this little hole. And I think that should be fine. Remember that edge math is not really the same anymore because we have the 1.0 water physics. So we don't really need to worry about, you know, magic tiles or anything, whatever you want to call it. At least not right now. So they're going to work on that in the background. I do want to check on a couple more things before I time-lapse again. I am trying to be respectful of your time. Not have too much, just nothing going on. So I do think I'm going to get just a couple more tiles of the tunnel completed so that I can just set it and forget it. But we also need to have our power shafts come all the way through here. I believe they should be able to build that outside thing without me intervening, so I can just leave that as a normal deal, and we can move on from that just as soon as they take care of it. So let's get that on triple speed. I guess we could watch them do this for a brief moment of time. Just get this. Probably is only going to have to be this single tile right here, but I have a deep distrust of the prioritization mechanic. I know this is probably screaming at your computer. You just don't understand. Well, yeah, you'd be right. I just don't understand, but not everyone can be smart. B for boom. All right, there's our drain. So as soon as they have this mess all taken care of, well, okay, it's not fair to call it a mess because it is going to be an interesting project to watch them take care of. I'm not putting gravity batteries on these because it's just more thinking than I want to do, to be perfectly honest with you. Just need to make sure that this is ready. Of course they did this one first. Come on, man. All right, it says, you know, new day at work. Go get your beverage of choice and come on in here and blast this out of here so we can go do another time lapse. You and me both know this is something that is going to take quite a while. Alright, so that is taken care of. I should be able to just leave this alone. But again, I don't trust that they're going to get this taken care of with enough expedience. Now I can be absolutely certain. So let's leave that alone. And let's come on over here to the fun zone, where we can watch them build this nonsense. And I know the evaporation is probably only going to be another 2-3 cycles, but the more fun we have with the new mechanics in 1.0, the better I feel about the effort that we're making in this playthrough, and especially to integrate all of the new things. And I think the aquifer pumps are really cool. I really like the mechanic of trying to force the player to, you know, play around features on the map instead of just, all right, well, pump it wherever you can find it. Like, no, this is an interesting way to create an additional challenge without it being, you know, a huge pain in the butt, which I personally am always going to be a big fan of. So we're going to let them continue working on this and check in on everything else once they are all finished. Alright, so it's cycle 29, and I know they haven't finished with this yet, but the one on the left is operating, as you can see. And if I am able to get the... There we go. I'm able to get the transparency of the water turned off. We should see... Yeah, you can already tell right now this is starting to get a little bit more purple. And of course, you know, they're going to finish this when they finish it. But we were able to take this from 2 entire tiles deep of completely poisoned water up to, hopefully, within the next, you know, couple of days, decently clean. We've already seen this happen on the other side, so I don't need to sit the camera here and watch it the entire time. But very good things are happening here. And we come all the way over to this mess. All the way down to the bottom. How does that still have a ton of water in it? I thought I solved that. Okay, alright, hold on. Now, I put this impermeable floor in exactly the right place for that not to be a problem. Like, you can tell right now, that's the impermeable floor. This is clearly not impermeable. Alright, well, let's try one more. Let's try one more. Get this impermeable in here. I foresee severe issues because apparently it's impossible for me to have nice things. Yeah, this is going to be a fun problem to try and solve. I think we're going to end up inadvertently flooding. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're going to be flooding through this. Why does this always happen to me? That's going to come right out here. Okay, well, so that is, it's hard for me to keep apprised of where exactly I am. I mean, I did want water to come in through here, I don't want the pressure head to be this entire reservoir here. Okay, so that is accessible from here. It's going to come up this way, and it's going to come out that way. I do not want that. That's not going to be able to do anything. It's not going to matter if it comes out here, because it's going to come out that same thing. So why though? Why though? I guess we're just going to have flooding until they can get this thing put in place. Because I know this works because we did it before. It's just one of those things that is going to be baffling to the mind. Oh well. It is what it is. I wish they would have built this faster. Because now there's going to be water absolutely everywhere over here. It hasn't come up this way, though. Is that because it can't get any higher? No, there it comes. There it comes out of this. Oh, I forgot. That's a whole thing. Alright. So. This isn't... Oh, it's too far from a district and can't be reached. That's a new one. But it's right here. It's right here. See, this is what happens. This is what happens. What happens when what? I don't know. You can fill it in. Blame whatever you want. All sorts of scapegoats that we could possibly have for this. What in the heck am I supposed to do? Of course, all these are going to be completely dead. I can't do anything about it. What a pain. So if I have them blow this up, then maybe they can reach this. Too far from a district and cannot be reached. Yeah, well, you know what? Just figure it out. That still says it's too far away. Tell you what, folks, this is really making me mad. See, I don't have, because this is the I don't want to use mods playthrough I foolishly agreed to do. I don't have the power shaft levy or anything here. There is absolutely nothing else I can do to stop this. Because I have power going everywhere, and I cannot have power go through whatever. So, we already know... Well, where'd the water that was coming through here go? It was coming up through this, and now it's not? So did it actually do something? Because I doubt severely that this actually did anything. Because it says it's too far and it cannot be reached. If I bring in another spiral staircase... Oh, I can't because this is why I don't do gravity batteries. Alright, it's fine. Well, this hasn't flooded anymore. So whatever happened works. I don't know. I can't explain it, and I feel like I'm going to be expected to explain it, and I can't. So we're just going to not attempt to do that. Yeah, it's clearing up a little tiny bit, and, you know, it is going to take a while because these windmills do not have any power connecting them or anything, so. Yeah, next big thing to do, I guess, is to put this little drainage bypass in. So this should be, yeah, just for the sake of my own personal sanity, I'll do it 2 deep. We'll put these triple dynamites in here. We'll do another layer of that, and then I will make a tunnel that, you know, doesn't have to be 2 blocks wide, but it's easier to do it if it is. Just build that in right there. I know they can't get here yet. I'm intentionally not going to allow them to get to this until the bad water is cleaned out of those things, or it stops because it's a bad tide or a drought. Obviously, if it's a bad tide, this is going to be a bad idea to have the beavers coming in and out of here. But if it's a drought, it's going to be perfectly okay. So, we just need to get the rest of these things in, hit that B for boom, and then we just need to do it again. And we come back and that should be okay. But I want to know what in the world happened here to flood all this that now it's not a problem, even though it says they can't build the thing that was going to solve the issue. I don't know. Because it says they can't build it, but they put the material in, so if they put the material in, why can't they construct it? Make it make sense. I don't know that anyone can make it make sense, but regardless, it works. So yay? I guess that's fine. Wait, how is that too far? Okay, well, we have B for boom, so we can B for boom. B for boom there, and let's turn this oops into a hey, that actually looks kind of nice. And you know what we can put in? Pole banners! And you know what can go on the pole banners? Oh, it's so nice to have these organized. What a great mod. Well, it's not really a mod. It's an asset that goes into a vanilla part of the game. I've got the face. And also the TM, so trademark. I can't put soon on here because I haven't made a file that says soon. But there you go. There's your TM sign. Yes, Discord users, I am going to make a TM emote. I just have to remember to do it, and I have to have time. But they can build that. That's a decent thing to stick there. I wanted to put them on the poles because I thought that was kind of fun. We already have these on the little structure thing. I know we have to do something about that area. Yeah, but you know, honestly, this is looking pretty good. I know we have to have dirt. I have not forgotten about the dirt. I just need to find somewhere to put the dirt excavator. And it needs power, so it's going to have to be, you know, somewhere with power. This is all connected to the same network. The power supply is actually quite rough right now. Oh, because there's no wind. We still need to have all these... There's so much we have to do. Gravity batteries, but these two are going to be sustaining things. You know what? Honestly, right here seems kind of like a natural choice for us to put a dirt excavator, just because, well, there's already power here. And this is already kind of a, you know, a depression area. So, why don't we just right here? Super simple. I can butt it right up against this with almost no ill effect. Obviously, if water comes through here, bad water, whatever, it's going to fill this, and then that can be a problem for which I will become upset at a later time. But I do not think that is going to be an issue for us for the time being. So, easiest thing for us to do. Note I said easiest, not the most beautiful. Easiest thing to do is just stick that in there. We've got this right here. As a reminder, this no longer requires any material. Used to require the, what's it called? Yeah, very scientific term. The liquid, the green stuff. Extract. And then other times it required other things. But we need to have a storage for dirt here right across the way. Should be pretty simple. We have plenty of extra beavers to work here. That will not be a problem. And then we will have dirt with which to do plenty of other fun things. So, we'll let them do what they've got to do there. It looks like I got some more B for boom. And then if we go all the way down to the very bottom and we see that, looks like it's good to go. Alright, so I can send the beavers down there actually from here if I really wanted to. But it's probably a little bit more important that we construct this. So, again, the very, very simplest way to get this done is just to bring that path over to about here. And make sure this gets put in before we have our next bad tide. And because this is still purging some slightly nasty water, I'm not going to send the beavers down here, but that is how we're going to get into that part of the map. And yeah, this is going to have to run super clean, but that should be pretty straightforward. This is going to dry out, hopefully in the next couple of cycles as well. Yeah, see, look at that. There you go. We'll probably end up changing that at some point. But let's put a little bit more decoration here. We can put our roofing pieces, doing 2 right like this. And then maybe something else in the middle. Actually, you know what? I don't really love that. So let's just do this. That's the simple way to do it. Who's flooded? Oh, that's the pile down there at the bottom. Well, we kind of already knew that was going to be a thing. So yeah, this is definitely not serving a purpose anymore, so it can go away. I still have no idea how they managed to put the thing in, but they couldn't actually build it. Like, how does that work? If you can reach it to stick the materials in place, you can swing the hammer and finish it, but it hasn't flooded anything else? So that's fine, I guess. And I did say last episode there was one more source over here that we needed to do something with. And I said we would do that in the next episode. And it is the next episode. So, as you might have guessed, that is going to be probably our last project for today. Just need to make sure they have access to this. And it is not going to be a very difficult task. Just bring this over here. Maybe not the most beautiful process in the history of mankind or beavers, but it will get the job done. I just have to be able to get around these little corners here. And then the very simplest way to make this work is just to pop that in that corner. And put in, first of all, remember which thing it has to go on. Put in that thing. Remember, this is Folktales. We do not have the Badwater, whatever the Iron Teeth have. Why can't I never remember the names of these things? Anyway, the thing that forces Badwater out for power stuff, not in this faction. They're going to take care of this. I believe we can probably just time-lapse it, and when they finish with this, then we'll see what's up. Maybe we have time for something else. Maybe not. But I'm going to assume that that will probably be more or less the end of today's episode. Alright, so they got that thing installed, and I got an achievement. No more leaks. Oh, and now the notification's gone, so I can't read the achievement, and I'm never going to know what it says until I go back and look at it later in 3 months when I remember. But that's fine. So now, I believe that is all of our native on-map Badwater completely dealt with, and all we have to worry about now is... if and when we get another bad tide, that is going to shove some nasty out of these things. That feels very good to have that accomplishment under our belts. And I guess the next step from now is just to, you know, get all this fleshed out, which I'm sure is going to take some time. But this is already a massive, massive improvement. I wonder why this still has... There it goes. I was about to say, why does this still have the tendrils of doom when there's no Badwater around? But yeah, we have this. I actually kind of expected to be full of Badwater, so that's good that it's not. This pool is, yeah, that's going to be for quite a while. But it's looking good, and I have essentially no regrets with this. It looks like this is clean too, which means, it's time for the return of the spiral stairs. So we get that prioritized. The beavers can eventually, whenever they, you know, feel like it, come down here and blast this tunnel out, which will, of course, give us a very nice diversion for the Badwater. And, folks, that is going to do a tremendous, and I mean tremendous amount of good. And we have this taken care of. This is looking better. Not, you know, not perfect, but it's definitely looking better. Let's take these stairs away, then get rid of these last couple of trees and stuff here. And I did say, I remembered while I was, you know, sitting there for that time lapse, I said I was going to do other buildings down here. So we can have a dance hall. We could have 2 dance halls. We could have 2 agoras and a dance hall. Depends on how you want things to be oriented. So I think what I will do is I will put an agora here. We'll unlock that. They can pursue their recreational activities of the green fluid type over there wherever they want. And we'll figure out something else to do here. But I know for a fact they're going to want to have something like this. So I will give them, just for the sake of, you know, visual symmetry, 4 of these small tanks. I know that like one of the larger ones would probably be better, but that's gonna, yeah, it's gonna look better, hopefully. And let's give them a border with these hedges right here. Oh, good, and there's a drought coming, which means I can actually have them finish this. I don't think you guys want to see another time lapse of this, so so we'll leave this. We'll leave this be. I'm not going to make you sit through that. But I do think this is a good point to end today's episode, and be pretty proud of what we got accomplished here. We've managed to get up to over 150 beavers. We've got a nice little complex over here that, of course, it does still have more stuff that needs to get done. But it's going to be nice, and we can continue improving, getting the rest of the bad water stuff shuttled off the edge of the map, and know that we are making some very, very good progress for episode 15. This may end up being kind of a short series, because I try to do a lot more time lapses so that we don't have to spend so much time just waiting on stuff to get done. Well, I spend the same amount of time, you guys don't have to. But this is where we're going to end. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. And of course, the Beard Boosters subsidizing the channel, so I don't have to do sponsor spots for stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing. I just want to have fun playing the games and celebrate good indie games with a good community and a great developer. And that's what we do here, and I would have it no other way. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back again soon for more beavers. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.